Welcome to a new season of KSP. This is Kerbal Space Program Season 4, and we're starting out in 0.21.1, and as you can tell, I do have a little bit of mods installed already. Let's see, what's it, Jordan? Okay, I love this this new view of the Space Center. You can rotate the view around, and you can scroll in and out to zoom in and out. It's looking very good, looks very professional. It is a massive improvement over the original stuff, which was good by itself, but this is pretty good. Okay, I do have one of the laser system mods in, and that is the laser docking cam, the standalone docking camera, which I personally find to be very helpful, very useful, and worthy of inclusion in the stock game, frankly. I also have the Kerbal alarm clock, the Kerbal engineer, sub-assembly manager, the TAC fuel balancer, which I expect to have need of later on, and I also have MacJeb 2 in, which I won't be using initially, and Keythane mod, because I'm probably going to be using some of that fairly early on. Let's get into the newly revamped vehicle assembly building. And by the way, these black loading screens, I'm probably going to be cutting them out in videos in the future, just simply because I find them personally a little bit unsettling. Okay. As the season progresses, I will be adding more mods. The ISA MapSat, the KSPX parts pack, the Nova Punch parts pack, procedural fairings, and probably a few others. But that's neither here nor there. Okay. I've also taken the liberty of removing all of the stock ships from this installation, because I want to kind of do things myself, use my own stuff that I build, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, we have the first mission on a brand new space program, and I think it quite reasonable that the first mission needs to be, let's get something into orbit. And we can even start with, well, let's go ahead and start with a manned mission. I think we can manage a successful manned mission. Okay, we have our capsule. And let's see, where did they put it? Here it is. Our safe recovery parachute. All right. Okay. Alright, we have our decoupler. For this ship, we may not need any additional reaction wheels. The capsule could very well provide all that's needed. Don't expect we'll need a whole lot in the way of RCS either, although I might decide to stick some on there. Alright. Let's see here. Throw on an FLT 400. And let's see. I seem to recall there's some new engines in this batch. Not that one. There's an inline version of a radial engine. Oh no, this is a radial version of the Ant engine. Okay. Alright. Let's see. Let's go ahead and Let's throw on the LV1. That's the new one. That's it. Okay. Oh boy. What's our 1.0? I think that might be just a tad bit too small. All right. Let's go ahead and give that one a try. Oh boy. I gotta admit, I don't care for that particular size mismatch. Let's give it a try, anyhow. No. Nope. I think we need to just go with a 909. I have a feeling that one might not quite have enough oomph in it. Alright, let's see here. Alrighty. Yeah, FLT 800. Something here needs to pack a little more punch. Alright, that'll work. And now let's have an adapter. No, not that one. I believe this one will do it. Yes. Alright. Go with 2 of these. And I want to use this quad adapter. Just simply because it's new. And it has a great potential for looking very cool. Alright. LTV 30s. 4 of them, please. Alright. Want to put a flight engineer chip on here. Plenty of Delta V. Alright. That actually ought to be just about it. Drop a pair of launch clamps on there. Ooh, there needed to be a decoupler below that engine. I'm glad I spotted that. Alright. There, that's more like it. Alright, let's see if we can get away with this without having control fins on here. I think maybe the... Oh, zoomed right into the wall there. Alright. Not block the doorway. Alright. We'll go ahead and save that, Orbiter 1. And let's see what we get here. Alright, here we are. First flight. And we have Jebediah Kerman in the pilot seat. That's appropriate enough, I think. I didn't bother to go over the options of crew selection because I knew it was probably going to be Jeb on the first flight. In the future, we'll take advantage of the ability to pick and choose who flies what. I rather like that. Alright, let's throttle her up and get fine controls on, SAS on, and let's go. Alright. We have apparently enough get up and go to be getting up and going. Let's see, we're not holding vertical at all. No, sirree, we are not holding vertical. Alright, throttled off. Stage, throttle up, because otherwise we would be losing our pilot, I think, and I don't care to do that. Alright, not going to orbit, I don't think. Well, I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. The ship rotated around correctly. Alright, we're pitched over 45 degrees, facing the right direction. Let's see if we can get Jeb into orbit despite the fact that the launch stage had some serious problems and probably needs more reaction wheel action. I do believe we have enough. Okay. Looking good. Apoapsis is climbing up. We still have plenty of fuel remaining. This will be a low suborbital, just beyond suborbital flight, I would think. To 70 kilometer apoapsis and start pitching over to the horizon. This new SAS functionality is going to take a little getting used to, I think. It looks like we're going to make orbit at least. Yes, I do believe so. Making orbit with enough to spare for a deorbit, which is good. Oh, and then there's that sudden camera angle shift. And I gotta tell you, I'm not a fan of it. Whoa. Got away from me there. Apoapsis out to 400 kilometers. Let's have a look out here. Yeah. There's the moon, and I think that's probably going to be the first stop, the first logical stop on our quest to conquer and visit and colonize the entire solar system. Alright. Okay. Let's get camera mode to free and maybe it'll cooperate a little better. Alright. Looking good. And right now, I'm kind of wondering, do you suppose there is a reasonable chance of putting Jeb back down close to the Space Center? I think so. Let's go ahead and drop a maneuver here. That looks about right. 500 meters per second in delta V. We just nicely have that much. All right. Didn't mean to hit time acceleration there, but why not? Warp out as we fly out to really high orbit on the night side, of course, and the ship doesn't have any lights on it. That's something I'm going to be fixing for future missions. We have Kerbal rise, or Kerbal rise. Alright, we're 15 minutes out from our deorbit burn. And Jebediah is having a good old time. First Kerbal in this game save to orbit the planet Kerbin. And successfully on the first launch in spite of a bad first launching stage, which admittedly was too much for this particular mission anyway, I can tell. Okay, let's drop out of the time warp here. Get lined up on our maneuver node and get ready to burn our re-entry and see if perhaps we can manage to come down somewhere near the Space Center. I want to try to do more precise landings and returns when possible, when at least feasible. If there's enough fuel and time to plan such a return, I want to actually do so. At some point, I think I need to set something down here, because while I've not seen any mention of anything, that would be a great place to put some kind of Easter egg or little surprise of some kind. Alright. We'll be doing a deorbit burn at T-minus 20 seconds before, or 10 seconds before the node. There's the moon rising, and if we had about twice as much fuel, if we had full fuel tanks in this thing, it could probably orbit the moon and come back. All right, we're ready for our burn. Go away. Alright. Looking good. Okay. Go ahead and clean that up. And that's got us coming down considerably short of the Space Center. Let's go ahead and pitch over about 45 degrees prograde, like so. Yeah. And we do have a little bit of fuel remaining, so let's see if we can push this trajectory in the direction we want. Okay, fuel gone, and it's right there. And I know that as we continue downward, that's going to shrink to the, off to this way to the west. So we're not getting to the Space Center this time. Okay, Jeb. Good job. Go ahead and get on our retrograde, and let's roll the thing heads up just for the heck of it. And what we got from a view for inside? Not much to see out there. Okay, that looks like about what, 6,000 and dropping? 56,000. Oh, well. Let's time accelerate. Get down a bit lower. All right. And we are seeing some of the fireworks out the window. Oops, wrong button. But it looks a lot more spectacular from out here. Definitely looks a lot better from out here. Okay. And it looks like Jeb will be coming down over here in the hills. At least, well, maybe out that way. But not far out that way. Okay, we can get rid of that lower stage. And who knows, he may be landing on the beach. In any event, we have our first launch, our first orbit, and very soon, our first landing. And speaking of which, let's go ahead and deploy the parachute. Okay, our booster's landing in the ocean, and so are we. I like how you can see the beach descend down into the water. It somehow feels a little bit more realistic looking. Okay. Our parachute lines appear to be invisible for the most part. I don't know what that's all about. But that's fine. Oh, good gravy. Ended up with 2 engineer chips. I'll have to fix that. Go ahead and speed this up and get our first good landing. Okay, nice and smooth, not even much of a visible splash. All right. Oops, that's right. You can't go away from here unless you... There. Throttle off. Now we can go to the Space Center. Okay, recovering from a crash here. Not exactly sure why, but I got a message about it couldn't switch to the requested resolution, which is strange because it was already at the 720p resolution that it was claiming it couldn't switch to. So I have no idea what's about there. In any event, here we are, the tracking station. There's our downed flight. And I can either fly it and then use the escape menu to recover the flight, or I can simply come here and hit recover. Another option here is, well, cancel. Another option here is to terminate an in-progress flight, and that destroys the ship and kills the crew. And you don't want to. I don't want to be doing that. So we will recover the vessel, and that means that Jebediah will be available in the crew selection for the next flight. All right, here's our orbiter, and this lower stage needs some help. It had a real problem maintaining control. So I think I'm just going to start with the first most obvious thing and add some winglets. Four of them should do. And let's throw the stabilizer on there. And we'll go ahead and save that, and let's launch this. Alright, here we are. Jebediah is back for more. So let's see if we can get this thing to orbit, because if we can, it guarantees that our top end up here will be able to reach the moon. And that's going to be our first stop on the exploration and conquest of the Kerbal solar system. So let's go. Standing by to abort this stage if need be. We seem to be holding a lot steadier. You know, it occurs to me I didn't check to see if the capsule was actually SAS equipped. And something that can actually control the winglet surfaces and so on. However, the flight is going a whole lot better, so apparently it does. That's good. Climbing very fast, and I'm pretty sure that we're going faster than terminal velocity right now, so back off the throttle a little bit to 80%. Much better. Passing 10 kilometers, let's begin a turn. control authority. Definitely lacking in control authority on this stage. And we're rolling like crazy because we didn't have enough to do anything else. But let's go ahead and ditch that stage. Get some control back. Get back on our 90. Roll to the preferred orientation. Alright, we're good. Climbing very smoothly. Okay, we have an 80-kilometer orbit. Let's shut down, save some fuel, and very quickly plan a circularizing burn. .239 by 243. It's kind of on the high side, but that's okay given the mission I have in mind for this flight, given that we have 3,965 delta V available. I think it's time to get our first lunar orbit or moon orbit return mission going. Okay, estimated burn time is 38 seconds. We'll burn at about 16, T-minus 16. Warping time ahead. I didn't think to put batteries or solar panels on this, so let's hope that power does not become an issue. There we go. Of course, this engine generates power, so let's recharge the battery. Just need to not use a whole lot of reaction wheel torque when we don't need to. Oh, and there's that camera angle. I would be seriously grateful for the ability to disable that automatic switching of camera angles. Alright, how's our orbit turn out? Let's see, 241 by 207. Not exactly circular, but it'll do. Okay, so let's go ahead and set the moon as target. 3.9 degrees out of plane. So let's see, our first node right here, ascending node, add a maneuver, 3.9 out, so we do anti-normal since that's a positive number, 1.9, 1.6, 0.7. They should flip soon. Do it this way to have a little finer control. .0. Good enough. Alright. SAS off. Rotate around to our node. And yes, every time I apply thrust or force, for turning, the electric charge up here shows a drain. I need it to roll this way, not the other way. There we go. Holding that attitude. 13 minutes before our burn. And this stage is exhausted, so let's go ahead and get rid of that. We have 2795 meters per second available. So I think we should be able to do a moon orbit mission as long as power does not become a problem. And let's use something else we've got here. Kerbal alarm clock. Add an alarm. There we go. Now I can time warp to the node without being concerned about missing it. Because the alarm clock will stop the time warp. Okay, estimated burn 5 hours and 25 minutes. I don't think that's accurate. It's 143 meters a second, and it's doing that because we haven't used the engine in this stage yet. I'm going to go ahead and burn at T-minus 30 and just, well, a brief throttle up to get an estimate. Nine seconds, 8 seconds, so we'll now go ahead and burn at T-minus 4 and complete this maneuver. Engine works a whole lot better when you activate it. Just an FYI. Oops, okay. Stop right there, delete our node, delete the alarm. We're 0.2 out, but that's not necessarily bad. Alright. We need our maneuver right about there. See what it's going to take to get out there. Okay, moving it over a little bit. 318, 287. Let's move this over just. Ooh. All right, let's back that off. I don't see periapsis. No, that's too much. There we go. 657. Yeah, that's more like it. $135. 46. That looks good. Alright, let's go with that. Alright. Alright, we're 9 minutes away. We have 54 seconds. Go ahead and add the alarm and time warp out to it. We should see moonrise just around the time of our burn. There it is. Close alarm. Burn at T-minus 25. Let's fine-tune that alignment with the maneuver node. Okay. And we're on the way to the moon. 750 or so delta V. We've got plenty to spare. This will not be a landing mission, but we'll get into orbit, have a look around down there. I understand the terrain has changed somewhat. I want to have a close-up look. Let's see. Okay, the 909 does not generate electric charge. We'll have to remember that. Future missions will have to include solar panels and or batteries. Drifted off of our maneuver node there a little bit. I'm surprised today SAS doing that, or SAS, or whatever this is. Alright, that's going to be close enough, I think. Loads of delta V available. We do not have a periapsis at the moon just yet. Minimize that. Drag it over here until such time as we actually use it. Alright, not a problem. Get rid of that alarm. I add another one for sphere of influence change, so that when we get into the moon sphere of influence, crossing this point right here, it will time warp stop, and we can do something about that missing periapsis. Nice theatrical, cinematic kind of view. And the moon approaches. Alright, time warp slowed down, stopped. Alright. That's a very interesting view on our projected path. Go ahead and get into moon influence. It's interesting how that path looks kind of curly-cued at times, and then when you finally get into influence, it's one of these. All right. This should be a very easy maneuver. It helps if I turn off the time warp all the way. And I'm betting just a little bit of a burn this way. We'll do what we want. 32 kilometers. That looks good for me. Close this into an orbit. See if we can get it roughly circular. 32 by 32. All right, I'll take that. A little tricky getting lined up on the node there, but it's doable. And so let us set an alarm. I find that to be so incredibly handy. I'll control the time warp and so on for a nice view of our approach, but I like the fact that the alarm won't let me miss my maneuver. That way I can get away with some sightseeing. And the camera changed again. Close alarm. Estimated burn 14 seconds, so we only need to burn at T-7. The moon's surface does look a lot more imposing with all these new craters. Perhaps even a bit more dangerous. And the camera changes again. With all due respect to Squad and the excellent work they've done with this game, I would dearly love to be able to not have the camera change angles when I don't want it to. Alright, cut that because it was starting to go up. 32 by 30. Close enough for government work, I think. Now let's have a look at this new moon. Yeah. This is very impressive work. It looks great. It looks very dangerous to land on. I think moon landings just got a lot more challenging. Let's warp back around to the daylight side. I'm sure there's not much to see on the dark side. And I'm right. We have Kerbal rise and the sun rising over Kerbal, or Kerbal going into an eclipse. I'm not exactly sure which way to call that. But it's very impressive looking. Almost a little bit 2001-ish. Definitely, it looks like the sun is rising over Kerbal, so this eclipse is coming undone. Alright, let's get our interface back. Proceed a little more here. Yes. Sun is coming out from behind Kerbal. Alright, that's cool. That eclipse is cool. Alright. Now, Jeb's had some time to look around. He's really enjoying the ride here. I think we need to go ahead and plan a return. Which direction are we orbiting? Counterclockwise. Alright. I would put the burn right about there, I think. Expand that out until we get an escape. What is our curve and periapsis? That needs to improve. 184, okay. 114. Let's not go directly for a return. Okay, 100 will be good. All right. Let's get in position and send our illustrious Jebediah home. Okay. We're doing good on electric power. We've got loads of fuel and oxidizer. Frankly, with a little bit of modification, this could be made into a lander. And that may happen soon. We'll see. In any event, it's time to warp ahead. 14 seconds of burn to send us on the way home. Definitely a somewhat overpowered vessel for its original purpose of orbiting Kerbin, but it appears to be just fine for orbiting the moon. Probably a trip to Minmus would be not out of the question. We'll see. Probably very soon. As a matter of fact, I have a mission or two in mind that this ship might just nicely be modified for. Okay, close our alarm. All right. And we're ready to send Jeb home. Just about. Fine tune that. Burn it a couple of seconds late. Whoops. Went over just a tad. No periapsis, but we've got plenty of opportunity to fix that right there. $74. 85. $113, I guess we'll do. All right, let's go ahead and plan that. Get aligned for it. Alright. Time warp out of moon influence. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Let's get rid of that maneuver. And plan one here instead. Alright, that's good. "23 minutes out. Alright. This will be a short one. What's it look like from out here? There's the moon. I would have thought we should be looking at Kerbin, but oh, there we are. All right. Well, that camera angle sure is all over the place. All right, 112. Plan our circularizing burn. And from here, all right, 114 by 109 it looks like. I don't know why that's up. Anyway, let's get down there. If I could find Kerbin, it would be... Oh, there it is. Gets rather difficult to spot that sometimes, especially when the camera angles are really strange. Close that. Line up with our node. And burn that at about 20 seconds. Looking good. Ship has definitely got a lot going for it, for being a relatively simple design. Needs a bit of work on that first stage, but I don't think that is going to be a big problem. That looks good. (119 by 105). All right. Okay, it's going to take a while before the Kerbal Space Center is back in view. So go ahead. I think what we're going to do is let Jeb have a look around, enjoy the fame and potential fortune or whatever he's expecting to get from all of this. Probably first dibs on the next flight, if I know Jeb. And anyway, Jeb will be landing and we'll be working on this ship and doing some more stuff very soon. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'm out of here.